Hey everybody, Brian Good here for the earliest alert. Headline here with our first frost alert for the season here. This includes a good chunk of wave country, just Breckenridge and Grayson not included, although while you're not included, patchy frost is certainly possible for you guys, but this is more of an issue of potentially widespread frost in cases here for the overnight period and early Thursday morning. So if you have those sensitive and emotional plants, you want to go ahead and bring those inside. All right, so that'll be again later tonight. Now at the moment, we've had some clear skies. This is on track here for the period of sunshine we've been talking about. Notice the clouds, those streaming in quickly from the northwest. So it looks like that will replace the clear skies. Now there's no rain showing up now. That's all cluttered from the radar site. But the rain with the clipper is now showing up. Even some snow into northern Illinois. But the timing of it arriving here, it'll be a warmer part of the day. So we're talking about rain. I wouldn't rule out some ice puts that could mix in with that, like yesterday. But it's not going to be... it's going to be the exception rather than the norm. All right, so mainly just spotty showers for this afternoon between, I would say, Evansville to Trimble County. That zone there looks to be the zone where these spotty showers will pass on through. So here's Futurecast on RPM. Let me start you off here. It shows it moving in. It's not too thrilled about how much moisture is in the atmosphere. There is some dry air to overcome. So there's a chance a lot of what you see on the radar there is not going to reach the ground. That's possible. It also would increase the potential for ice pellets, though, because you get what we call the evaporative cooling that may cool the air column down enough that that potential could be there. Either way, I want to stress, not a big deal. Tonight we clear things out. We get ready for the frost to take shape. About 37 here in the city is what we're aiming for. 33, potentially 32 in outlying areas later on tonight and early tomorrow morning. Beautiful day. We're talking about a good 30-degree climb. I think we'll be warmer than indicated here, about 66 in the city. A lot of you will be at about 62, though. But still, a good 30-degree climb from morning to afternoon tomorrow. Beautiful fall day. Plan anything you need to take care of before we get into this nasty weather this weekend. You need to do outside. I would do it really this weekend. Or do it tomorrow, I should say, to prepare for this weekend. I wouldn't do it this weekend, as you'll see why in a second. Clouds then roll in on Friday. It's going to be a warmer start today on Friday. And then we got the front moving in. Now, the RPM is fast with the rain breaking out as we get into Friday afternoon, west of 65. The other extreme is the Euro, which is Friday evening, and the GFS is kind of in between. So the models are really struggling how quickly the moisture will be thrown at us. Keep in mind, we do have some dry air that it'll have to overcome. So I think right now the slower idea, like the Euro had, is probably the better one. Either way, the quicker the rain gets in the area and the thicker the clouds are, the cooler you will be on Friday. I think here in Louisville and east, a chance to hit 70. West of Louisville, no. The clouds increase too quickly, and in some cases you'll get rain in the afternoon period, as far west as, say, Jasper, perhaps even Tell City, and you guys may get stuck only in the 50s for highs. So quite the contrast across between Evansville and Louisville as we head into Friday afternoon, depending on how quickly this front's impact our area. Then as we head into the nighttime hours, again, it's real fast with this, but there are signs as it passes on through. It'll last all the way through at least Saturday morning, but we could see some colder air try to catch up with this. Now, the best way to show this is the sounding. This is from the NAM. Here's the ground level. Basically is way up here. Let's be on this where airplanes fly. Red is the temperature line. Green is the moisture line. When they're close together, you're saturated. You get moisture that can reach the ground. All right. When they're far apart, it's dry air. And the freezing line that's important here is this one right here. It goes at an angle, though. 0 degree line. That's 0 degrees Celsius. Notice as we head into Saturday morning, say around 4 o'clock in the morning, where we have a warm push of air right there, southwest flow, pushing the temperature and the moisture line, of course, the dew point line, close together. We're saturated. Pushes everything to the right of the 0 line, that angled line right there. But notice at the surface, the winds here are northwest. So the colder air is trying to undercut, come underneath. But still enough of the column here, as we call this, is right of the 0, which means rain. Now, once we get toward the end of the rain band Saturday morning, say late morning, we then notice that here's the 0 degree line. Everything lines up along it, except for the very surface temps. We're above freezing, so that's why we're not talking about freezing rain or anything. So that's likely. The question is then we got to figure out, first off, they're kind of spacing apart a little bit, so there's some dry air working its way in. It starts to shut off the moisture there. You know, if they're closer together, then we're a little more saturated, and if they're a little more lined up here, or kind of go in and out a little bit more either side of the 0 line, then we could be talking about maybe rain or snow combination or sleet. We'll see how it plays out, because the warm layer at the surface looks fairly thin at this point as the colder air begins to work in slowly. But we get into a road away that southwest flow aloft as the front moves in. Just kind of gives you a different visual of how this all evolves. It's not a big deal, but at least when I mention it, even the Schreff model indicates that there could be a period of a little bit of snow trying to mix it with the rain, and then we get into rain or snow showers, probably sprinkles and flurries as we head into Sunday. That's where that begins to bump up again. But we'll talk about that more in just a second. Look at the overall weather pattern here. This is your areas of low pressure in green, high pressure in yellow. You see the trend here. Everything's diving over Alaska, it dives in Canada, and then it dips down into the Great Lakes, and then quickly goes back up again. And it carves at that trough like we're going to have here for this weekend, and then it begins to pull back up again to the north after that. So, you know, the weather pattern the way it is, there's a ridging in the southwest that's giving the west coast the Santa Ana winds and the heat for LA for the World Series. And these low pressures keep moving in and bouncing back north, so we're getting glancing blows of the troughs, but they're not able to last and lock in. It's a fairly progressive pattern still, even though we got a block going on. They're able to still kind of repeat themselves, and eventually we're going to start to see this shift a bit more. The block's going to change, and we'll see how that evolves as we get into time and whether or not we can get some warmer air to move back into the Ohio Valley. The models are really struggling with the long-term pattern. Let me show you how this will set up. Here's the temperature profile from the GFS. It's got the warming trend for tomorrow and Friday. Here comes the rain band again. This is for Friday afternoon. It shows the darker green, still mainly west of us, which you need to look at there. And then here it is about midday on Saturday. It's mainly along east 65. It's ending. And then it's out of here. And then we get the backlash, because that tropical system I was talking about yesterday is going to still hit up the east coast and still kind of pump in the opposite dumbbell effect, so we get that dig on the backside. And it will provide for some rain showers and moisture here. The snow looks like to be mainly higher elevations for the Appalachians here for snow that actually could stick. Otherwise, we're talking about sprinkles during the afternoon on Sunday, and then as we cool down Sunday night into Monday, we may get snowflakes. Not a big deal, but just gives you an idea of how cold it is, really, aloft. And then that retreats, and then as we head toward Halloween, now it's trying to give us some rain Halloween. I think this is a little too fast, but there is signs we're going to see a wave get pushed in out of Texas here, along with another trough digging in the Great Lakes, and the models are struggling around that. It wants to phase these two or kind of keep them as separate streams here, and it seems to be the problem here that we're noticing. And another one even digs in on the GFS around the 3rd of November as well. So very active in the northern stream. It's just whether or not we get anything on the southern stream to interact with that or phase with it, or is it all going to be northern stream stuff? And that's where I've seen the models kind of bounce around. Here's the Euro, shows the warming trend for tomorrow. Here we go with the front arrival. This is Friday night. See, it's still got the rain well to our west Friday night. Here we go on Saturday midday. It's still right along 65. And then we begin to cool down, and here comes the backlash. It's going mainly rain, but again, I think daytime raindrops, nighttime snowflakes. Halloween, it's got that wave showing up here, but again, it's keeping us dry for Halloween, but then the wave begins to show up as we head into the day after, on the first day of November. But notice the upper energy is already east. Then here comes the southern energy. So they're not exactly linked up very well. Another one comes along, tries to link up with it, but it's still not fully phased yet. So I don't think the models are done resolving this setup next week. Our confidence for next week is very low because we've got to figure out these timing of these waves coming down the northern and southern branches. And right now, I don't think any model has it right. So bear with us on that. We're going to go with a general moderation to normal, which would be 50s and 60s as we head down the road. And we'll see if whether or not we get a bigger system involved in this early alert outlook or not within range. But right now, we're going to leave it out. Stay tuned for updates.